All right, thanks for joining to SD-WAN class number 2. And today's session is going to be very important. After this particular session that we are going to do now, your imagination will increase. You will think more that, oh, these are the benefits we have with the integration of Python and the SD-WAN, and these are the things at least we can do. Anyways, I'm going to give you a good amount of use cases as well. Those are real enterprise level or production level use cases, and even you are going to get the scripts as well. If you do little modification in those scripts, then things will done. So those things are there, and we are going to we are going to reach up to that point. But before reaching there, we must know the basics, and we should do hands-on practice and the labs. So for hands-on practice and labs, uh, you have to install softwares. And what are those softwares? I'm going to give you the list of those softwares. Okay, now those software are 100% free, and those are actually it's quite amazing that you can use those software to create the code. Suppose if you have the code, you can do the modification as well in the code, etc. Okay, so let's start. Um, Before I'll show you the actual lab, I have few slides I want to walk through in these few slides, and then in the lab section. So let me open the agenda for today's session, what we are going to learn. So today is day number 2, and we are going to do the fast review of the Python, what this programming language can do for us. Then we have to do the SD-WAN and the Python integration, and then we have to build our home lab, and then we have to perform certain tasks. So let me add one thing here, that perform few examples or perform few tasks, whatever. So we are going to do few of the baseline Python SD-WAN programming, and you will find it very interesting, and then you will never use Postman or any other tool. We are going to focus mostly upon on Python and the SD-WAN API integration. That's the best way to achieve whatever things we are looking for. Okay, now there are some other programming languages as well, which is giving tough competition to Python. One of the languages is Go, but the baseline is this, that if you learn one language, other language, it will become easier to learn other language. Okay, so that's the key here. So suppose if I learn Python, if I know Python 80%, then other programming language by default, you know those languages at least 30 to 40%. That's the ratio. So in future, suppose if you have some new things, some new coding, some new uh, framework, then it will be easier to learn those things if we know one thing, one programming language. Okay, all right, so let's start. Day number 2, we are going to do the review for the Python. So let me open the slide. We have few slides related to SD-WAN programming, and then I will show you few slides related to Python as well. So we are going to start our journey. What you need to do, that first of all you need to install the Git or JIT, whatever you are telling it. So here you can see this thing is required in your laptop. I'm using Windows, but in your MacBook or any other operating system, you can go and install it. It's very easy. So what I have done, I simply searched like download zip, and I got that. Once I have that, you can see here, I have opened this in this particular cell format. Now this is very much giving me a Linux type of format. So here you can see I can do ls long list of the files. I can go and check the size and those things and other stuffs as well. So inside my Windows machine, I can use it like a, you can think as a Linux type of wrapper or patch. But that's not the actual use case of the Git. Git is something like, we have two things. First of all, Git, and then you have the Git uh, over the website. That's the GitHub. So mostly what we are going to do here, that we are going to use this software, and then we are going to copy certain codes from GitHub as well, and we'll do some modification in those code as well in future. So Git and GitHub, you please go ahead after this class. When you watch the recording, you please go ahead and install Git in your laptop or MacBook. We are going to use it. I'll show you how we are going to use it in the upcoming session. All right. The next thing to understand is the API, why we need API. And then we know that APIs, they are using certain methods behind the scene. So what are those methods? The RESTful API and the remote procedure call, etc. We'll see that in this slide, in upcoming slide. Then we have to understand about the Python. Now, I'm assuming that you know a little bit of coding, you know a little bit of Python. If you don't, suppose if you are not knowing that, still it is good. If you don't know a Python language, if you know only one thing, that's the logic, and everyone knows logic. So, uh, if you know logic, if you don't know the syntax or semantics, etc. Suppose I'm good in Cisco devices. I don't know Juniper, Arista, Avaya, etc. Same thing they will also do. Same thing, you can configure OSPF there, you can configure BGP there. You know how to configure it in Cisco platform. You don't know how to configure it there. But the main thing here, the key here is that we know the logic how OSPF is working. We know the logic how BGP is working, and that's the key here. So if you know that what you need, so we are doing some sort of need-based programming. If you know that what you are looking for, that's it. Then you will get the code for that, and that's as easy as you can find this. That's as easy as this. So what is the requirement, and you will get the code. Now in between that, how you can run execute that code, and for that you are going to build your own, in this case the lab environment. But this lab environment that we are building, suppose in my corporate laptop I have Python, and with that Python I can do whatever I want to do related to the operational task that I am getting, correct? So same thing you can do with your corporate laptop. You can install Python there, and from there you can do a number of things related to operational stuffs. Or maybe you have some sort of firmware, or maybe you have some VM hosted somewhere in the cloud, and those you can use on demand basis, and then you can utilize that. So whatever way you are going to utilize your system, your operating system, you can install the Python, and then you can utilize it. So key here is, again, the key here is the code. So once you develop the programming, once you have the code, uh, and code, what they are going to do, code you are building with help of logic, and then these codes are coming from some requirement, because some requirement is there, then you have done the development of the code, and then while doing the development of code you have apply certain logics, and then you want to perform some task with that, some operational task, or any type of task, correct? So that's the, everything is connected in between, and the hurdle is that how we can do with the programming. Because if we do with the programming, again, we have discussed this earlier, that the repetition will be there. You can put certain loop inside that. So if you have to do the same thing for 1,000 times, you put I equal to 0, and max equal to 1,000, and I equal to plus 1. So that loop will go for 1,000 times, or maybe 1,001 time, and then you will get the result for 1,000 plus 1 times, etc. Correct? So build the logic, see what's the requirement, then according to get all the codes, you will get the code. There is no problem getting the codes. You get the code, you improve the code, you optimize the code and run it. Yeah, that's the thing we have. Now, in some environments, suppose if we have, say, Python 3.3, Python 2.7, Python 3.8, Python 3.9, and different instances, because 2 is different than 3, etc. And you have one machine, you have one operating system, but what you want, for certain code you want to use 2.7, for certain code you want to use 3.8, then you can use Python as a virtual environment. Like in networking term, we know that VRF, virtual routing forwarding. So you have one global table and then you may have multiple instances like that. In one operating system with the virtual environment, you may use 2, 3, 3.3, etc. So again, we'll see that in the lab section about this virtual environment as well. Why you need Git? Because you can go and clone anything from the outside world. And let me see here if I can go here and let me. So I can go to GitHub. Okay, I need to do sign in. I have my sign in there. You can go and create, you can go to github.com, and these are the tasks that you please do in this weekend, in coming weekdays actually. And then the weekend we are going to discuss all these things. So please watch the recording, pause the recording, the steps that I'm using. You can just follow those steps. If you go here and search SD-WAN, everything you will get from here. The GitHub is public place from where you can get most of the codes. Now here you can see that SD-WAN, harvester, etc., etc. Now suppose I want to copy this particular code, SD-WAN APIs. Now here you can see that uh, this particular link, it is going to give you alarms API, local cloud related API, REST API, and there's so many things, all these things. Now these codes that you are seeing here, you want to use it, correct? So obviously you need to copy it. See here you have the download option, but do not download like this. You just go here and click here, and then you can see that you have this option to download this, correct? Now once you copy this in the clipboard like that, I have copied to the clipboard, then you go here to the GitHub. Remember, we have installed this GitHub. It's very easy to install. Once you are inside the GitHub, you can type git clone and then paste that link, enter. Now once you have pasted that, you can see everything I'm copying from that location to my local system, and it's done. Now where is my directory? So I can go and check my present working directory. So I can go to the C drive users and this place. Once I'm at this place, I can go and check the SD-WAN APIs. So let me quickly go to that particular location I have. So I can go to this PC, C drive, and RATN, or you can go to the users and then you can go to RATN, and then I can go and search with the SD-WAN key. So if I go, see SD-WAN API, this font is little bit small, but that you can see that. Let me increase the font size there. View, and I can make this as a medium or maybe large. So here you can see that everything from that link, it got copied in my local system, and then I can modify these codes. Or if there is some document, if there is some PDF, some Word document, I can go and read it. So it is telling that you have these APIs, you have these API. Anyways, these APIs we are going to learn in upcoming sessions more and more. But yeah, you can see simply you have the code. So suppose for example, I can go here and I open this particular code. I have multiple options to open it. I have Visual Studio as well. I can open in the Python editor as well, that is the IDE. So I can go here and I can click IDE, and you can see that this is the code related to the alarm related code. What's the name? Yeah, alarms dot API, and you will get the alarms and all these things that you suppose if you are new, you can think, oh, what is this parenthesis code, double code, etc., etc. But you'll come to know. I'll explain in each and everything in today and upcoming session. Okay, so you can see here the use of this, that you can copy it even from here also. If you want to run, you can install Python here. At the moment it is not installed, but you can install here and you can run your code from here also. There's no issue, there's no problem. But we have better tool to run our, to execute our Python script. I'll show you that. Up to this point, do you have any question?
No.
Great, thank you. Ishwar, you have any question?
Sure. No, no, Rajneesh.
All right,
We are
thank you.
good. Yeah.
So, what's the GitHub? I have shown you that how you can go and copy anything. Then we know about the API. The best thing about API definition is that API is something that machine can talk to other machine. So it's a machine to machine language. So what does it mean? It means that the input or maybe the output of one machine can become the input of the other system. It's like that. So two machines can talk. What is happening with the CLI? Whenever we are running the CLI, it's like human to machine interaction. So you are running show run, show IP, interface brief, show SPF, etc. So the CLI is for us that we can run the CLI command to the machine. It's like human to machine thing. But the APIs are that can be consumed by one machine, so it can be output, and that output we can use to any other input. It's not like that two different machines are using the input and the output. It's a very interesting logic. But you can think that you have a task, operational task. So you have to perform one task. And let me give you the task. So suppose you have one use case, and that we are going to achieve in our training as well. So you have one use case. Suppose if you have 300 SD-WAN devices, you want to take the uh, backup. So you want to take the show run inside some folder, and once you take the backup for all the configuration inside your local folder, then you have something called baseline configuration or the standard configuration, and then you want to match all 300 configuration with your standard template. Now if there is the difference, then it will go and print the difference. Okay, so this is your task. The task is that operation, they want to make sure, they want some evidence that whatever configuration we have inside the devices, they are following the standard. Correct? So that become your task. Now for that task, you have to build the logic and you have to create the code. Correct? So logic and code, they are going hand on hand. That means that you have to create logic. So what logic, how you will develop the logic? The logic is that, okay, first thing, 300 devices. So I can do one thing. I can go to my putty, and then I can log into all the 300 devices at a time, and then I can run show run command or execute show run command. Or maybe all the devices are managed from vmanage, so I can log into the vmanage, and from vmanage we can get the running configuration, we'll copy from there. That's it. That's a logic we are developing. But still, these are the manual thing. Manually you are logging, manually you are copying, manually you are pasting somewhere, then you are saving in the folder. Correct? So the task is somehow to take the running configuration. You are taking the running configuration, then you are copying. So you are doing the copy for the running configuration, and then you are saving in the folder, saving to the folder, and then final thing is you are doing some sort of difference program you're running, and you're comparing the configuration. Now if you are doing the difference in the notepad, or maybe some tools are there, so you can put one file one place, other file other place, and you can check the diff. Even in the SD-WAN GUI also we can check the diff. Correct? We have option to check the diff. Or maybe you can run some diff program, but it's still, this is good for one or two or three devices. This is not good for 300 or maybe 3000 or 4000 devices. Correct? So you have to develop some logic. So what you can do, that okay, I will use one API. So I'm going to use one API to get the running configuration. Then I will use some Python file program to copy those configuration inside the local folder, and then I will put a loop that will go up to 300 times, and then it will put all the files inside the folder. Now once I have all the 300 files inside the folder, again I will go and run one of the difference script, and that difference script will compare all the files, and then it will generate the output either in a text or CSV or Excel, etc. Correct? So like that we have to develop the skill set. Like that we have to develop the logic and code you will get. Again, I'm repeating this thing. Codes are everywhere. You will get the code. Even the hardcore programmer, they are getting the code, and there's different places you can get the code. The thing is that what's the task? What is your logic? Those are important thing. Task and the logic. So now here you can see that you have one API to take the running configuration. Now inside the API, when you go inside the API, so there may be chance that you don't have API to get the configuration, but you have API, oops, but you have API to get the device ID, and then you have the API to get the device name, and then you may have API to get the configuration. So that means you may have to call three different functions to get the configuration file. And then you have to nest API A to B to C. So the output of A will become the input of B, and then output of B will become the input of C, and then you will get the output. Okay, so that's an interesting thing we have in the programming language. In normal terms, we are telling this that everything is working as an object, and then since everything is working as an object, you can call any object anytime anywhere, just like object oriented programming, where we are calling the objects whenever it is required. Okay, so that's the same thing, like it's machine to machine interaction, and there are so many cool things that is happening behind the scene with respect to API. um, there are some examples, and you will see, you will, if you go and watch some YouTube videos or some Cisco Live videos, you will get good amount of examples related to the capabilities of the APIs and the methods used for the API. In this case, we are going to use the RESTful APIs. What is the REST method? Again, we have discussed earlier that you can get the object, you can create the object with post, you can update the object, or update an object with a put, and you can delete an object. Those things are there. Again, we have discussed this earlier in our previous section, that you have your URL, and then what method you want. It means in our case we have the data services, and then what type of call you have. Correct? So these things are defined here. Just for your reference, these slides are there. Now, so we have to do the heavy lifting, and this heavy lifting, how we are going to do? We are going to do the integration of the SD-WAN with the Python. And once we have the integration, see, to build the code, it will take time. That means you are building something. But once you build the code, once your code is ready to serve the purpose, then it's things will become easier, smoother. So the tough thing we have here is that what's the requirements, what's the logic, what's the code. Once you have the code and it is serving the purpose, then you can go and optimize the code time to time to time to time. Okay. So now we are going to discuss little bit about Python. And again, I'm assuming that you know at least what's the Python, what's the different type of Python, what we can say, the constraints or uh, inside Python, what type of Python objects we have. Say, for example, the integers, string, list, uh, dictionary or directory, etc., etc. Those things I'm assuming that you know that, but still, if you don't know those things in depth, no problem. We are going to understand those things. Those are still very easy to understand. We have a dedicated lab for the virtual environment, Python virtual environment. I'll cover that. All right. So day zero, what you can do if you are using the Linux machine or Mac OS, you can go and install apt-get install git. In Windows, I have simply downloaded the exe and I have installed inside that. Then you can go and you can do git clone and you can download the code with this. So I have shown you about git clone, how I have done the download. You can go back in this particular recording and you can check that. And then these are related to virtual environment, how you can do it. What is this requirement? What is this pip package? I'll cover it. So this is the baseline just to create your lab. Once you have your lab up and ready, then you can go and work on it. I have, I think, one or two slides just for NetMiko. Sam has asked one question that the same thing we are going to achieve that we can do with the NetMiko. The answer is no. If you use NetMiko and Python, so the difference here is that you can integrate Python and NetMiko. You can do the task, and then you can go and integrate Python and API, and then you can do the task. This is like 100 times faster than this. It's, it's lightning fast. If you are using Python plus API, it's the fastest thing that we can do in the networking. You type the command, enter, you'll get the result. Even if you do the CLI thing, you are giving the instruction and then after few delays there, after few seconds, you are getting the output. But the APIs are lightning fast. Even if we have this slow VPN, slow network, still they are giving the result like like very fast result, and the accuracy will be there like 100% accuracy. Obviously in NetMiko also you'll get the accuracy, but the chances in NetMiko that you may break the session and then you will not get the result. The other problem with NetMiko that you may have firewall or checkpoint in between that, that may break NetMiko connection. Again, the other drawback with NetMiko is this, that in a few of the places the NetMiko will not get installed. So there are some restriction with NetMiko. That's why everyone is focusing on APIs. Some libraries are there, but why we need library? We don't need library. What we need is the API. So API related to everything. But again, if you do NetMiko also, NetMiko is something like the older way to manage the network. Nowadays, we can say that's the older way to do the management of network. The newer way we have is the with the API. But again, if you have some use case, you can use NetWeako as well. So now we have two tools. We can use API as a primary, and you can think NetWeako as a standby. So you may have MPLS connection, and then you may have LTE connection like that. You can think. So API is your MPLS type of network, and then NetWeako you can use. You can think as a 4G network like that. Great. So let's perform certain small operations related to lab task, and then I have one dedicated slide deck to do the discussion about the Python. Okay, so before doing this, because theory is becoming boring, so I want to show you some cool stuffs related to SD-WAN and API integration. Okay, You guys have any doubt, anything you want to ask?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, so be ready for the good thing now.
No.
So we have really cool thing I have prepared for you guys, and I'm going to give you a start today, assuming that in coming 5 days that we have, if you have time, just study for at least 2 hours, and then when we meet on Saturday, you will see the difference. You will see that how much you are understanding those things. So I have simplified the code, and then we are going to add the complexity inside the code slowly, slowly. All right, so let's start. So uh, before I go there, um, let me tell you the programming strategy that we should follow, the standard practice we should follow, at least in terms of networking programming that we are going to do, and we are going to achieve this task. And actually, this is tested thing that I'm going to tell you, and I'm using it, and everyone is very happy with me with that strategy. So obviously, no, they will become happy from you as well, like, oh my god, what you have done. Okay, so
Okay,
what is that
thank
say?
you.
Make everyone happy. Okay, so just check these three things. So what we can do that, you need one file called config. What is that? So you can go and put inside that what is the SD-WAN, say IP or maybe URL, what is the SD-WAN username, and what's the SD-WAN password. So you can create one file, say config.py, and by the way, the Python file their extension is .py. Like text file, we have extension txt, the Excel file CSV, PDF, and etc. Document doc, etc. Like Python has this extension py. Okay. Now, so one small file where we are going to put the variables. In terms of Postman, these are nothing but your environment variables. Correct. Now, once you have the environment variable, next thing what you want to do. Next thing, that's the cool thing that you can develop during the time period is your library. Correct. So next file that you can do for the big programs is to create the library function. Library and functions. Library plus functions I have written there. So here what you can do, your say SD-WAN underscore APIs.py. That's the name. You can give any name. So one file is your library function, and then finally you can go and you can execute the task. So SD-WAN underscore task dot py. The good thing here is this, that the config file will be always with you because you have to set this one time. Then the library, if you become very good programmer, obviously you will start writing your own library, your own functions. But you can write it. There is no problem. Even you can copy and paste as well. It will work. That's just the functions. And then the task, the final thing. Now you can merge the 2 and 3. There's no problem. Inside the same file, you may have library plus your task. In our few examples that we are going to study, I'm going to merge these two. So we have only two file, config and the library plus task. So what does it mean by task? Task means, remember, task means get, put, post, and delete. Okay, these are the tasks. Mostly we
Okay.
are going to dealing with the get and put. Delete, obviously we don't want to delete, but you can delete it. There's no problem. You can create the API to delete anything. We'll see that one by one. We are going to discuss and we are going to understand these things. So this is the strategy 3 file, the variable file, that's the environment variable or the config file, your library, and then the task. Great. So let's start. I already told you that after the class, you please go ahead and install Git. If you don't have Python in your system, you can install Python. If you don't want to install Python, it's okay. You can go and install. So you can skip this and you can go and install a Visual Studio Code. I think that's the name. Let me quickly show you that. What's the name of that program I'm using? So here you can see. This name is, I have one program just for today's session to show you this. I have one program. I'll explain you about that. So you can go and you can install this guy, Visual Studio Code. This is Microsoft product, 100% free. It's amazing. It's really good to develop your script, you run your scripts. If you install this and if you put any type of program like Python or any, automatically it will detect it and it will tell you, oh, you don't have Python in your laptop. Click here to install Python. You'll click and it will get installed. Okay. All right. So what we are going to do here is that first of all, I want to show you the config file. Here you can see that I have my config file. If you have any issue understanding this, just let me know. It's very easy. SD-WAN IP, you can give your IP, username, password. It's just 3 names. Correct? No brainer. It's very easy. The second thing that we have here is that we should understand this before moving further. So let me increase the font size here. I want to explain you about this thing, that what exactly this is, and then we'll go and test this. So on the top, you can go and give this pond and this shebang. It's not required. If I remove also, there is no problem. In the older Python code, we have to give this, but it's not required nowadays. Anyways, if you are giving this symbol here, this means comment. After that, you can write anything. So here I can go and write, say, author name and code task, whatever, get device list. Then the author name, description. Then you can go ahead and you can give some comment. Now, if you use these three um, quotes together, the start and end, starting here and ending here, that means you can put any comment. This is a long comment and short comment. So you can see that. Now, this particular section is very important. So why we are using Python or any other programming language, you know, the reason behind this? The reason behind this is, the main reason behind this is that you have so many inbuilt code that you can import from anywhere. So once you have Python library up and running, you don't need to write a separate time related code. You don't need to write a separate request related code. You can go and you can call these things. So here you can see that I'm importing some modules, time related module, some sort of request related modules, the system related module. System is in this uh, place. I have my code. Now if I want to exit, or if I want to give some user input, I can use the system variable. And here you can see that the description that is given is some sort of help that this Visual Studio Code is giving to you. Correct? So that's the cool thing about Visual Studio. It's one of the best editing tool we have, or the platform we have to learn the programming language. Okay. Then you have the JSON, obviously. Yep, you're asking something.
I said that is sweet.
Yeah, this is actually very good tool. Yep.
Yeah.
And then we have some other functions like click we are going to use inside our program. So click is a function, it will give you some sort of user friendly help. We'll see that what is the use of click. And the tabulate means that I want to print my output in a table format. So that's why we have the tabulate. Then we have the URL library. URL library is something that if you have some sort of certificate errors, or if you have some sort of uh, it is going to deal with the certificates. It's dealing with the certificate error. So here you can see from request package URL library exceptions, import insecure request warning. And from the URL library, if we have any warning, we can false those condition. So whenever you run the code, some certificate will try to do the authentication. But if you do false, means okay, I'm bypassing the certificate, I just want to run the API, so it will allow you with this library. Okay, so from line number 21 to 30, if you have any question, you can ask.
I'm good.
Great. So from line number 33 onwards, we are going to build the library. Now, remember, so good thing. So from line number 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 30, these are the things will be always there in all the program. Or maybe you will add something, you will delete something. But if it is there, you're not calling also, it will not have any harm. So suppose I'm using import JSON. In my program, I don't have JSON, it's okay. In the program, if you have the JSON and if you are not using the import, then it will cause the problem. So for example, suppose I'm using the tabulate in my program, and if I go here, oops, sorry for that. If I go here and if I comment this, so let me comment this. I'll save this, and suppose if I go and run this, no module name request. So I'm getting one. Okay, let me try to run this manually. So I can go to Python, and then my program name is sdvan01, and then I'll use help. Anyways, this will not work because I think I haven't connected my VPN. So let me quickly connect my VPN first. We have the VPN connectivity because we have cloud cloud SD-WAN. So if I do not connect this, you can see the connection error I am getting. I should have connectivity first. So once we have the connectivity, and while I have a connectivity, let me confirm that you guys are still able to hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, sure. All right. So now if I go and check the
Yeah.
help function here,
Yeah.
thank you. So here you can see, let me increase this so you can see it properly. So what is happening here in the output? I'm using the help command. It is telling that you have one command to run. That's a device list. Now if I go and run the output, the device list, see what error it will throw. So it is telling that, okay, you're running this program, but see, tabulate is not defined. It is telling that you don't have the module tabulate and you're calling this inside the program, so it will not work. That means you can go and do it. And suppose if you don't have tabulate, then you need to do one thing. You need to install the tabulate package. For that, you have to run this command called pip install tabulate. Once you run this pip install tabulate, so what is there? It is telling that maybe it is already there, with some older tabulate package, etc. Let me show you some other example. Like if you want to install pip install click, so those things are already there. That's why it is not installing it. But in future we have to go
Yeah.
and install some sort of packages, and the command is pip install and the package name. Okay, pip is nothing but the Python package that you can go ahead and install any type of inbuilt modules. So now we have this. What I will do, I will quickly show you the output. Let me go and execute this. Oops. So I'll go here and run this program, say Python, and then the program name, and then the device list. Great. Tabulate is not defined. Still, it is telling that it is not defined. So have I saved this after changing it? Let me run that. See? So when it is generating the table, and if I decrease the font size, you can see here the output. Oops. Let me run one more time. See, so we are getting the host name, one column, the device type, the device ID, system IP, version, device model, platform. One of the nice output in nice table format we are getting. Correct? Why? Because we have
Yeah.
one function tabulate. Again, how it is happening, I'll show you. We'll discuss about this. Okay. So let's continue our understanding about the APIs, about this program at least. So let me make some space here. I can go and close that as well. Okay, so what you need to understand from here is the library. I'm going to explain each and everything from this list. Okay, and then we'll run the program, and then we'll do some modification, and then we rerun. We are going to add some packages, modules as well here. So far, if you have any question, you please feel free to ask. And let's continue. This 30 minutes are going to be very important. Let's try to focus for next 30 minutes. All right. So I told you that we can have a separate file where we can go and build our library. In this case, we have the file and task in the same place, but it's okay. So when you want to call a certain API, we have seen this thing yesterday. So let me go here. See on the top, and this was the failed example, but any other examples? See in the top, what are the things you have? You have the HTTP, that's the method. Then you have the vmanage URL port. Obviously, to log into the vmanage, you should have a username and password in the back. Then you want to use the data service, the device, and monitoring. So this is the complete API. This is one of the API requests you can think. This is the port, or this is the URL to which you want, or this is the vmanage IP to which you want to run this particular API. And then you have your method. So either get, port, push, get, post, put, or delete, etc. These are the methods. Like that, the same thing we have to build in a program. Correct? So if I go back to the program, here you can see that you think that you have to build the logic, correct? So what's the logic? First of all, you want to log into the device. So once you are logged into the device, means I am inside the vmanage, then obviously I want to open a session. So log into the device, open the session, and then you can run any type of request. Either it's creating or deleting or any type of method. Correct? The same thing you will see here in the program. So we have we have to go and initiate the session. And if I can write here, so let me try to write here. I can go here and initiate the session. So to initiate the session, what are the things I need? I need obviously the vManage IP address. So let me just give me a second. Okay. So you can see that you have the vManage IP, the username, and then you have the password. Now, this self is something like you log into the vManage. It's not required. We can remove that self, but the important thing here is the vManage IP username and a password. So you're going to initiate the connection. Then you want to log in. Here you can see log in to the vManage. Now, when you do the login, then at that time you require the username and the password. Now, the next portion here, if I scroll a little bit down, you will find that the next thing that we have here. So let me scroll down. Let me close this. So if I scroll down here, you can see the login. It's very important here to check the login. So you're logging to the HTTP. Let me highlight this. Use my pen. So you're logging to HTTP. This S is a variable that is going to call the vManage IP. That's a string. Then the port number and then the vManage IP. So this is going to be called here. And this vManage IP we are putting inside the config.py file that I will call from some other place here. Okay, so this thing here is actually very simple to understand in terms of logic. So what are the things we have? We have the URL. Then whenever you are logging, whenever you log in, you'll find that there is J security check. Security check is there. Okay, security check means your username password are correct or not. So you can see that your string and then your security check, correct? Now your string and security check will become the login URL. Now that login URL will become the URL when you will add the login URL to the base URL string, correct? And it's a straightforward thing, nothing complex. You can think like this. You have the URL, that's your vManage IP, then you have some security check, then you have the username and password. So you have initiated the session first and then you are logged into the device. So initiate the session, then log into the device, and then you can run the API. Now to run the API, you have different methods like get and post. We are going to discuss get and post here, put and delete as well. So you have your session up and running. Now next thing what you want to do is to log in. So let me clean the stuffs here. So you have the session, you have the login response. If it is not there, that's why we have the system variable. So suppose your password is not correct, your URL is not correct, then you will get one message, login failed. That means you are not able to log in. It will come out. Now once you log in, that's the one function. One function is complete. Log in. Then you have two methods listed here in this library. One of the method is get the output, and the other method is do some configuration. Now both methods are identical, but there is some change. Whenever you are doing some configuration, you know that whenever you are doing the configuration, you are putting some parameters. So for example, go to the interface and give the IP. So interface gig 0/0. Okay, and then you are putting the value there. IP address 1.1.1.10/24. Correct? Now in programming language, that IP address we are telling as a payload. Okay. So what you have to do, that open the session, go to that location, put the payload, come out. Correct? So that's the post thing. I'll come to that. But what about get? Get means you are running show command, show run. Now once you are running the show run to the CLI, how it is? It is returning some value. You're writing this command and it will give you some output. In programming language, we are telling this as a returning some value. So here you can see that your URL that you have built on the top, and it's very interesting. See this keyword data service. So up to data service is there. If you go to the Postman, let me quickly show you the Postman thing. If I go to the Postman here, let me clean this stuff. If I go to the Postman and if I go and check the data service, and after that if I want to check the devices, so here you can see the API is data service first and then the device. Now if I go and run this, so it will go and print the output like this, and I told you that to remove the header and check the data only. So I can go to the, I don't want HTML, let's go to JSON output. It is showing HTML. I don't want this HTML. And that's the thing that we can do very easily in the programming. Still it is showing HTML format. Let me run that. I want JSON output. JSON. This code that you are seeing, that is HTML. But anyways, so if I scroll down here, the data field, what it will tell you about the device information. And I can't see anything. So let me see here. Body. Raw. First of all, I don't want. And again, you can see the problem with the Postman. So we are looking for some other information, we are getting some other information, but this result is something like it will print the devices and with the information with the devices. So let me show you this in the URL. If I go here, let me quickly log into the vManage and let me show you this from here. So I am here in the vManage. Let me refresh my session. It is coming. It will load. It is coming. Once I refresh the session, I know that's what is my API. I know that is data services and device. So I can go and delete up to there. And I'm looking for the data field. So here you can see the data field. The device ID. These are the key things we have. Let me increase the size here. So what value? Some see key and value. That's the key thing. In Python also you will come to know about the dictionary value. So what's a key? Key is device ID, value is this, system IP value is this, host name. It's up to us. When you print this in Excel or in the table format, it's up to you that what type of key you are taking and what type of value you want to print. If you don't want to print the time zone, the device group, the personality status, you do not take it in your program. You take only device ID, you take only reachability, you take only domain ID, whatever, and then you can print only those values. That's the key we have in the programming language. And then you can generate in the tabulate, in the Excel, in any format, whatever you like. Correct? So let's go back to the program. Remember on the top, data services and device, we are understanding our program where we have the Visual Studio. Okay, so your get method. Up to data services, it is feeded. Now you have to give anything. If you want to call the devices, just give devices in your function and it will give you the result. Before coming to the post method, yeah, anyways, I'll cover post as well because it's a minor difference between post and the get. So I can complete this. So here you can see URL. So get, I'm highlighting get URL and certificate verify is false. So whenever that certificate prompt will come, it will mark this false, bypassing the certificate and getting the result. So the response is, that's the key. The response is the vmanage IP get URL verify false. And obviously, what you are printing inside the get, again, uh, you will see in the function what are the things you are getting. But you can see here clearly, and that's a key here, that this is one of the variable. Let me highlight. So this IP you will get as a variable, whatever you will feed in the config.py, and this %s that is there in task.py. In our in present case, the library and the task, they are in the same file or same page. Okay, so these two feed you have to put, and then you will get the response. This response, generally they are in the JSON format, but you can print in any format, it's up to you. Then the response dot data, we are returning this. This is the return value. This is the output of the Ghibli Goo, whatever we are telling. So before moving further, I just wanted to show you this thing, and then we'll check the other stuff. So uh, let me show you this example first. Let's try to understand this, and then I'll come here. It's a very minor difference in between this and this. The minor difference is just the payload. You are using one extra keyword payload here, and that's the thing. But let me show you the get function first, and then I'll come to the post. All right, so I want to use one of the function to just check my get thing. I want to build that. So how we can do it? I have one in the bottom. I can show you that. Now we have use to make this program user friendly. We are using one functionality called click. Okay, click.group. This is nothing. Just make this program some user friendly. That's it. That's the main case of this or use of this. Now we have one function called device list. This is just the function name. You can define like this. Now what this device list will do, see the response. So response is, and you see what is there inside the get device. So I'll show you one cool thing here. So I can go here and I can print the response first. Okay, and then I can go and print just to show you the differences, the data. Then the tablet and all those other functions will come into the picture. First of all, let's see the response for this API and the response for the data as well. Okay, there is a difference in between these lines in the print statement. What is the difference? We'll see that. So let me open the CLI. I can go here and let me move this up. Now I can go to the Python and the SD-WAN code and then the device list. Let's run this. Oops. You are seeing the response in the data. It is throwing an error, saying the data is not defined. I can't print the data. But on top, you can see this much of information. This is in the JSON format. And while we are developing the program, what we are doing, that we are copying this thing, this output, and then we are putting inside the notepad like this. And then whatever information we need it, according to that we are putting in the field. So I think few of them are header. I don't want header, I want the data. Generally, we can use like this also, or we have other good methodology as well. Like you can go and run the program like this, and from here it's very easy to fill the key and value. See, the first portion is the key, so this is the key and this is the value, correct? So I'll show you that how we can build it slowly. Let's go back to the program and let me s- make some space. So you can see that data is throwing an error because of some issue. So I can delete this, but you can see that the response is working. Response is something that is giving you a something, what I can say, that is giving you the dump file. It is termed as a JSON dump. It is giving you raw data, all the raw. Take it, whatever you need it. Now we have option. I can go and I can print this output in some other format as well. So let me go here, and there is one inbuilt function. I can go and type from p print import p print. It's something like nice format of print with some spaces. Now while printing that particular output, again I will print that output. So oops, let me go little down. So what I want to print here is that instead of doing the print, I will use pprint, and then I will go and run this one more time. Let me go back. See, so now it is printing in some nice format that at least we can read and we can take some fields from there. Correct? That's one thing. Generally, as a best practice, we are not printing from pprint inbuilt function, but we are printing this in our own defined function. So what does it mean? It means that I have one function here. Let me copy from my older program. I can go here. See, I have one function defined as define pprint. This is my defined function. Simply I can copy this and I can go back here. I can scroll this little bit down from where my function got start or maybe ended. So I can go here and I can put that print function. Now I don't need module because I'm not calling the print function from any outside place. So I comment that, and now we can go bottom where we want the result in the print format. So I can go to the place where I have my preprint. So here you can see preprint is okay, but we are not calling from some outside packages. We have our own function. Oops. And then let me quickly save this. So once I save this, again I can go to the terminal and I can run this program one more time. So let me go here to the CLI and run that. So now you can see that it seems to be same type of function, same type of output, but you will see that it is little bit more formatted than the earlier one. So once you pause the recording, you will see that this is little bit in much better format than what we have earlier. If I scroll a little bit up, let me scroll up. When I have run first preprint, you can see first preprint. This is taken from some inbuilt function as a package, and then we have defined our own function, and with our own function you can say that we are getting some better formatted JSON output like this. So again, you can see the device list, and if I go back to the API call, see, like this, you're getting this. Okay, so we are getting the output. There is no problem on that, that we are getting the result, and then it's up to us that result how we are printing. So that's why we are using one of the package called tabulate. Print this in a table format. But to print that in a table format, you have to have the data. You need to define the row and the columns, correct? So that's why here you can see that we have to define the header. First of all, how much information you need it. You don't need all the dump. So suppose if you just need the host name, device ID, system IP, version, etc., you can take it. Suppose you want only two things like host name and the device type. So you can go and remove. You can go and remove. So only these two fields you will get, and then you can save this, and then you can go and now if you go and run this time, so we have removed from the table format, and I don't want to print the dump. So I can go ahead and disable the dump. We can go back and we'll run that. See, only two items, host name, device type. It's up to you that how you want to print.
Where did you click to disable that print PP response?
Yeah, here you can see I commented this line number 112.
Once you comment, yeah, it doesn't work. Okay.
Yeah, this is just a comment statement. It will not work.
When you say disable, I thought you pressed somewhere. Just you added a comment sign. Okay.
Yeah. So you can add one comment line and it will get disappear because this is the comment line. So two ways to add the comment. One is this, and other one is if you have long list of things that you want to define. So you can use this quote and this will go out. Okay, great. So let's continue and see. I made this look very simple and small, but you can add big amount of complexity inside this. So here you can see the logic that we are taking the header, then the table we are calling the list we are calling inside the table, and here we have the for loop, and that's important. So what this for loop is doing that the for loop we have is appending the tr. The table is what? The host name and the device, and that's why it is going up to the end. So that's why it is printing line number 1, line number 2, line number 3, 4, whatever devices we have. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 10 or 11. It is appending those output because again we are using one of the Python function append. So although it's a very small program, but at least 15 to 20 logics are working inside this, minimum that much. So if I show you one, if I highlight only these many lines, what are the function what are Python programs are working here? First of all, the JSON dumps, then we are calling the get request from the library that is there in the top, then we are calling you can think this as a list. So we have one list, then we are putting inside the for loop, then we are using one inbuilt append function to append whatever we are getting inside the table, and then we have the tabulate format to print this in a nice output. So the good thing here is this, that you don't need to understand each and every syntax. If you understand this one, then what you can do, simply add the items here. Adding the items is very easy. Say I'll go here and I'll add one item. So I can go here and I can add one item, and that item I can go and give the, I need to check that what are the things I can go and add. So I can go here and check. Okay, reachability. So I'll take this keyword, reachability. I can go back to the code. I have to add here the reachability, and then I should go and add this thing inside the header as well. So I have the header, and then I have this inside the item. Control S, I can save this. Then we can go and run this program. So this time it will print 3 column: host name, device type, reachability. Correct? Again, you can go and add multiple columns and row. What I'm going to show you in the next class is that how you can convert this in the Excel format. So the same result it will print, and you can see the same result inside some Excel format. If I have something, Steven class code, yeah, see. So the Excel that I'm opening here, it is the result of the program. Once I run that program, it is generating the Excel sheet. At the moment, you can see that we don't have header on the top. So I will run one function, and that will add the header as well in this Excel sheet. So you can see that how the operational reporting thing will get little bit decrease because your program is working, doing the Excel work for you. All right, so let's continue. First of all, let me complete that. Let me complete that programming post method. So let me go back here, and here you can see. So once you have the get method like that, you have the post API post method as well. What you can do inside the post method is only two things are changed: the payload and the header. You have to give the payload what you want to configure. That will come inside the payload. And you need the header because the payload format is JSON. So you can see that header content is the application slash JSON, and the payload is the dumps payload, JSON dumps payload. We are putting the payload in terms of JSON, but you can put in XML or any other format. Actually, two formats are there: JSON and XML to put the payload. Okay, then you can see the function here, the post method on the top. So it has the payload, it has the header, and when you call this, like get function, you have the URL verify false, but you have to add two more items there. One is the payload, one is the header, and then it will work. Correct? So you can see there is small library, SD-WAN library like this. What I want to do, if I can put, so let me think, if I go and cut this, but in that case I have to define the main function as well. And oh, main is there. What's the starting of the main? Let me see. Do I have main function that is starting? So not a starting the main function, because main function is taken as a CLI. So let's see. CLI is there. Let me go up. Yep. So I think it should work. Let me do one thing. I can go and paste this. This is the library. It's very less items are there in this library. There's nothing much in this library. And I can save with any name. So save as say SD-WAN API.py. Gone. Now we have to import now SD-WAN APIs. Okay, and then you can go here and you can run this. So it has some issue now. Why? Because you can see that it is telling that some problem. So what is happening now, that when you're calling some function that is there in some other place in the same folder but in other place, whenever you call that function, you have to use that function name here as well. And that's the reason it is telling that it is throwing the error that although you're using this get function, so let me see that where we are using the get function. So here you have the get function. So when you are doing this get request, it should call that function. So it should come like this dot SD-WAN underscore APIs. Not like this, it should be like this. Say SD-WAN and then dot and then SD-WAN APIs should coming like this. And then you can go and check this. Come on, it's import SD-WAN APIs. Yeah, I can understand inside the SD-WAN APIs. Here also we have to go and define some sort of import statements. Okay, but yeah, we'll see that. We'll do the standardization later. Uh, First of all, let's work on the basic scripts, and then we'll go and add some more and more complexity in all this. Okay, so far the concept was to understand how we are initiating the session, how we are doing the login to the device, and then we can go and run one of the get function. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. You need to watch this video. You guys are there?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah. You need to watch this video, Sam, Ishwar. Ishwar already know all these things, but Sam, you need to uh, watch this video. This is going to be very interesting in upcoming days. All right,
Okay, I will do that.
so let's complete our Python thing. Let me quickly walk you through this. I have created this 150 slides just for your reference. That just you go through this Python. What are the things inside the Python? Basics of Linux is also required. Basic commands related to Linux. If you have, I think GitHub, you can run those commands. So say manual ls or ls minus la, ls maybe help, etc., etc. So we can go and check those things. These commands are related to the Linux as it is I have given here. So make directory, change the directory, delete the directory, change the variables, path variables, etc. Those basic things are there. You can go and have a look on this. Copy command is there, cp, cat command is there, tail command is there, more, diff. These are the important ones that I have listed here in the slide. Once the Linux slide will get over, then the use case, we have already discussed this. That's the use case is that you will take the configuration from the SD-WAN, then you have the baseline, and then you can do the comparison. And that comparison you can print in the Excel sheet. Okay, we are going to work on this in our lab. Then basic of Linux related to networking, ipconfig, ip route, add the route, delete the route, etc. And then the basics of Pythons will start in this. So in Python, we need to learn that it's open source, it's very easy to run. We have executed just now. What are the um, strings, what are the variables or what type of data types to be precise we have? So string, number, list, dictionary, boolean, files. What we are going to use more? Dictionary and files. We're going to use more and more. Even the conditions will also come, like while true, a plus b equal to false, then continue. Those things. Numbers are a simple thing. Uh, IP addresses and other things. Even IP addresses are termed as a string. So numbers, we may use that numbers. Which number logic and string logic is very easy. A string, my name, your name is a string. IP address, some command like show run output is a string, etc. So you will see that all these things in the program. Just for your reference, you can have a look here. If you go through this PPT slides, you will understand this what it is telling. Some keyword that we have used append in our program. So here you can see that we have the upper, lower, replace, etc. Then the number format, Boolean condition. 2 plus 2 is 2, 2 plus false is false, false plus false is obviously false, etc. And then the list, you can put number inside the list, but the most important thing is the dictionary. Why, you know? So in Python, we have dictionary, correct? And the JSON is other data format. By default, those are very much similar to dictionary. So what's the key here in the dictionary is that is a tuple like key and value. You can see the key and value pair. And the JSON format is also like key and value. So you can compare the JSON format with the dictionary. It's very much compatible. And that's the main use case we have with the dictionary item. One thing very important here is that the list, so if you have empty list, you can denote like this bracket. And if you have dictionary, those are denoted as a curly braces. Okay, so those are very important thing. Then obviously we can play around with the dictionary, with the list, etc. Loop condition, what you need to learn three different type of loop: for loop, while loop, and if else. All these three conditions we are going to use in our lab also. Okay, so if you have little bit of knowledge about for loop, while loop, and if else, although these are very easy and straightforward. So for I equal to 0 to I equal to 10, print. So it will print ABC. So print ABC for 11 times or 10 times. While it is false, come out. If it is true, print. It's like that. It's just the logic. So you have some of the loop functions are one of the most important thing we have in our programming, because we are going to use more and more and more functions. So once you have your config file, that's your variable. Once you have library, then you can inside the library you can define the functions, and in the task area simply call the function and that's it. Call the function, print it, and your job is done. Same thing we are going to do. Functions. Define the functions, play with the functions. Okay, so functions are there that those are the objects you can call. Working the file is also very important. We have good amount of examples related to file. So suppose I have to take the backup for 300 devices in a certain folder in a certain place. Then I can use this file operators, and then I can store all those configuration in a folder with different file name. So file operation also we have to study, and we have examples for that. Some scripts are there. Anyways, we are going to deal with all these scripts and how we are writing and executing the scripts. Then final, we have the error handling. In our program also you can see that we have error condition and the error handling method. Try and accept, they are the error handling method. Even you can use try, accept and continue, try, accept, pass, etc. So those keywords are there. You're running a condition, and if you have some exception, if you have some error, how you will handle it, that is also a good thing for a professional programmer, that how they are putting the error handling code inside the program. Okay, and exceptions and the error handler, that's it. So I will upload this file and the this file, and then I'll go and upload the code that I have created for day number 2, config and the SDWAN 01 and this recording. So these 4 5 files I am going to upload in that same location, and you can go, you please go through these videos, watch the videos, try to build the lab, try to do at least whatever we have done in here. Once you do this thing 3 4 times, you will become very very comfortable, because in upcoming session, upcoming classes, we have to deal with some of the complex program, maybe 300 400 lines of code we have to go and explore. So be ready for that. This is the initial start, a starting point. You please install Visual Studio, GitHub, whatever I have done today, please try to do that from your side. Let me stop the recording.